Hi, my name is Angel Jimenez and I'm taking SDI FTH 212-53128. Today's July 25th, 2024. My professor is Mr. Richard Mansar, and this is my week 3 assignment. So part 1, perform a field strip and identify all the main sub-assemblies this firearm can be disassembled into for your instructor. So I have it field stripped right now, down to my frame, my slide, the barrel, my recoil spring and rod, and an empty magazine. I have no ammo on my workstation. Describe the operation and role of various major components, areas within this platform. So I'm going to start with the magazine. Stores the ammo or cartridges, which helps with feeding. The barrel allows for chambering a round, locking, unlocking, and guiding a fire projectile. The slide assembly houses the striker fire pin, the barrel, the extractor, and aids in feeding, locking, and unlocking, and chambering. The frame assembly, which houses the trigger assembly, the locking block, a pistol grip so that you can be able to hold on to it, and it helps with feeding, firing, chambering, locking, unlocking, cocking, and ejecting. Demonstrate the operation of each component for your instructor. So I'm going to look at the magazine. I have one with dummy rounds, one without. So I'm going to look and push the follower down to make sure that the spring has the tension, the proper tension, and that it's not worn, and it's not allowing it to stay recessed. Looking at the feeder lips, making sure that they're not damaged. And okay, I'm gonna look at the barrel. I'm gonna look at the feeding ramp, making sure that there's no damage to the feeding ramp. The locking lugs on top and bottom, making sure that they're sharp and no wears, no missing pieces. Making sure that I look at the barrel itself, I feel it, I'm looking at it, I'm making sure that there's no bulges on it. Looking down the barrel, looking at the rifling, making sure that there's no debris, making sure that it's no rust, no pitting. Looking at the slide, making sure that the firing, the striker fire, when the plunger's not depressed, that it doesn't move forward. Depressing it allows it to move forward. Looking at the frame, looking at the trigger, pressing the safety, making sure that it operates correctly. Depressing the safety and the trigger, allowing it to for the trigger to be manipulated to the rear. Check that you have the ejector. You got your trigger bar, which is going to interact with your plunger, which depresses the plunger and allows the firing pin or the striker pin to move forward when you pull the trigger. Making sure that when you pull the trigger, that the crucible allows for the firing pin to bypass as well. Taking my barrel and then putting setting it into the frame, into the locking block to verify that it would lock when it's fired. And articulate your level of readiness in performing troubleshooting work like this in the future. So when it comes to the in the future, I believe that I will be able to correctly and safely disassemble a firearm, no matter what brand or manufacturer of product it is, and be able to function check the problem and go through the cycles of operations to verify what the malfunction is. Part 2. Complete a headspace check in your firearm following the guidance you received in this course. Place both the go gauge and the no-go gauge in the chamber and to demonstrate the proper head spacing procedure and verbally note any differences between the readings you got. Okay, so I have my 2 go gauges here on my go and no-go gauge. So my first one I'm going to try is my go gauge, and I'm going to install my go gauge into the extraction and line it up with my chamber. Okay, so I got it lined up and it locks flush with the frame. Now I'm going to remove it and put the no-go gauge. Okay, so I have the no-go gauge in the extractor, and then I have it lined up with my barrel, and I'm gonna try to see if it seats properly, and it does not. There's a gap. If you can see that on the camera, it won't seat the barrel with the slide correctly. So with the go no-go gauges, we saw that with the go gauge, it fit perfectly, it locked up perfectly with the slide, and with the no-go gauge it did not. So that tells me that the chamber is chambered correctly for the 9mm. And the items that I used for my research was I used the lectures and the Gunsmithing Pistols Revolvers 4th edition by Sweeney. And that concludes my assignment. Thank you and have a great day.